That's our material setup. Let me go and save this again, and then we're going to go and save this out into our new library so that you can share it with other people. This is a multi-step process. Number one is we need to save the mesh into our library. Number two, we should save a material preset just in case you were to develop additional texture options in the future. And number three, together with the mesh, we should also save all these new adjustment sliders that we've made. So even these things are aliases, they do need to be saved separately, otherwise they won't come back with the mesh. The original ones probably will, I don't actually know, but the aliases probably won't unless you save them. So let's go and save them, and be on the safe side. It's basically 3 steps. So the first one, then go back to the content directory and make sure that you save your object in an appropriate spot. So if we go and look at the normal DAZ 3D library, we have a props folder in which we would have something like a product. That's not actually the correct folder here. It's going to be main library, that's it. So props, and in it we would have something like a vendor name, and then in it we would have something like a product name, and in that is the actual file that you need. So let's go by that hierarchy and go and make ourselves in our own folder a new subfolder, which is going to be called props, so that it slots into existing hierarchies. Inside props, I'm going to go and create another subfolder called J vs Lewis. Let's say that's my vendor name, or Deviant. And then in here, we're going to go and create another one, and it's called Pulse Rifle. And before you ask, no, this is not going to be available for sale because this is a personal project. So it's not going to be available for sale, I'm afraid. But now you know how to create it from scratch if you buy Ostap's product from ArtStation. And in here, I'm going to go and say browse to folder location, just so that a window pops up from which I can go and copy that path out, just in case I need that. Well, / I know I will need that in a moment. Now to save this geometry out, I'm going to go to File, Save as Support Asset, Figure Prop Asset. That's with your rifle selected here. Figure Prop Asset. And that now brings up where do you want to save the dialog. And this is where I'm going to go and paste my path in here. And so there's going to be an icon that appears here in a moment. I'm going to call this one Pulse Rifle and hit save. Now this exciting dialog comes up here that asks me for an asset directory. It's the correct one. This is the one on my desktop, but if you had multiple, you can pick different ones. Thankfully, it's going to pick the one that I've just attached here. My vendor name is correct, but change as appropriate. My product name is going to be Pulse Rifle as well, and the item name is in fact Pulse Rifle. But if you had a product that contains multiple items, then you would have the item name and then one would be the product name. So like, you could have sexy outfit, and you could have pants for the sexy outfit, and you have a skirt for the sexy outfit, and shoes, and so forth. So content type, that's what type of product it is. It's not a follower, that would be clothing. So ours is going to be a prop, and I suppose it would be for sort of arms, I guess, maybe. You can just maybe untick that box, I don't know. Category, is it something like sci-fi perhaps? Whoops, see if we have something like that. Props, oh actually we have a weapons folder, that's exciting. And then it's technically it's a gun, I suppose. Yeah, it's a gun. Perfect, let's make it a gun. Compatibility base we don't have because it's not compatible with anything, and it's also not compatible with anything. So that's perfectly fine. That is all we need. Compress or not compress, that's totally up to you. Let's go and hit accept, and then it goes and saves this previously embedded geometry out, and in our folder here it has created this. So it has now gone ahead and made the DUF file itself, and it's also made the tip and the PNG file. If you want to replace that with a better image, you can totally do that here. Also, and this is partly why I'm bringing this up, if we go up a few steps in my hierarchy here into the root folder of what we've made on our desktop, this is the Pulse Rifle folder, we now have a data folder as well. So runtime is what we've made, that's where we put the textures. Props, that's basically the folder that shows up in here, and data is something that DAZ Studio has made. And if you go into that, you see another vendor name here, and then you see another product name here, and then you see another product name here, item name, so to say. And now we have things like UV sets and morphs and all the rest of it. So morphs, let's just have a look if that is in fact in here. Perfect. So all these morphs have been saved, so we don't have to do that. That's actually quite refreshing to see that that's already happened. That's very, very cool. I thought we're going to have to do this in another step. That is pretty exciting. Oh, then one other thing that we should do is we should create a material preset for this. So it's only a 2-step process, and very cool. So in Pulse Rifle, let's make another subfolder and call that one materials. And in here we can use a little plus icon and choose a material preset here. And we're going to just call that one Pulse Rifle Standard. And that will just save the rifle body and all its properties here. Hit accept. And here's the material preset. So let's see if it's worked. Then I'll go and save my scene just in case. I'll go and delete my Pulse Rifle out of here. And then rather than loading it in via file, open scene, I'm going to go to my hierarchy here and double click it, and I would expect it to come in to the middle of the scene with all materials applied and hopefully also functional. So let's check that out. Top node selected. On the parameters tab, on adjustments, there we go. We've got the back bit that can now rotate, and we've got the left flap and the right flap, and we even have, whoops, the sight up and down thing is still available. Sorry about all the issues with transparency. In fact, Textures Viewport has the same problems. And rifle open, does that also work? Yes, it does. Look at that. So our key properties also work. Yeah. Transparency preview is a bit of a shame, but hey, you get the picture. And one thing that we could do while we're here, while we're thinking about it, if users do not like this whole thing with the transparency here, we can just go and take that off under geometry and just go and put that to no map here, none, and then leave the cutout opacity on 1. So you could make another material preset and just call it rifle no transparency. So under materials, that might not be a bad idea. So material preset, and we'll call this one rifle no transparency. And that will save you that. Rifle standard and rifle no transparency. I love it. I love it. There we go. So just to showcase all our handiwork here, rifle open goes and does indeed this, and it does it in 2 stages. I'm super proud, and I'm also super proud of you watching all of this and hopefully trying to attempt things like this at home, because it is just so much fun blowing DAZ Studio wide open and doing these things from scratch. It's just so cool knowing how to do this and going over all these tricky steps. Is just, you know, I could do this all day. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Deviant, I hope you're gonna have a lot of fun with this, and I'm gonna leave a link to the original rifle model that I've used for rigging in the description. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.